Hey, I'm Marta with Inner Artistry, and I really want all of us to have freedom to make mistakes. And not that I like mistakes, but there's a certain amount of freedom that comes in our person, in our energy, in our creativity, in our space when we can find out where our own natural boundaries are rather than the ones imposed by the shoulds, by authority, by teachers. A week ago, I made a video called Giving the Middle Finger to Perfectionism. And 2 days later, I made a mistake. I broke a rule and my car got towed. And wow, it brought up all the feelings. So I've been working through this, and it feels ever more important to me that we as humans are going to make mistakes, and we need to know the deep truth. What I want is for me and everybody, my son, my family, to know the deep truth that we are still lovable. Our love, our deserving of love, is not dependent upon how perfect we are in the world. In fact, honestly, making mistakes can actually make us more lovable because it helps us find our authenticity and truth and of our own selves, and find our own desires, find our own true yes and our own true no. So I was heading out of town to go on a solo camping trip, and I wanted to make a quick stop, grab a few things from the camping store. I parked in a parking spot that I knew was not for the camping store, but I kind of deluded myself into thinking it would be fine, or maybe it's for the store. And I was in the store I think it was quick. I think it was maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and I came out and my car was already towed. And I first went through this whole process of denial, like, oh my gosh, how could this be? It was only 10 minutes and there's no signs right here and all this stuff. And then I went into bargaining, like trying to help make the cops that happened to be in the parking lot. I was like, please, begging them to help me get my car back, calling the towing company. Please, will you just bring it back to me? I'll pay you over the phone. And finally, when I was like, okay, I just need to take responsibility, it actually wasn't that hard. The hardest thing about it was the shame that came up, and embarrassment, and feeling humiliated that the voices that said inside of me, I should have known better and I should have avoided such mistakes. But, I called my partner, my husband, and he was so kind. And that was really helpful and reparative from what I expected. I expected to be met with judgment and blame, not particularly about him, but just like our culture, childhood stuff. And my Uber driver was so nice and had a nice connection with him, and he was really kind and understanding. And then, I was in this place of recognizing that this shame message doesn't have to be true. This isn't the true story. And I get to the towing company place, and the place to pay, it was called the redemption window. And I was like, oh my gosh, what a word to choose for this. Clearly people associate getting towed with making a mistake. And I associate the word redemption with sin. And, our culture that has some European Christian tones of deserving punishment for being a sinner, and so that redemption is how you get out of that eternal hell kind of punishment. And I'm kind of processing through all this in my head, and I said to the woman, oh, and then I go to pay, and she, I can't even see her because it's this one-way mirror thing, and it feels so dehumanizing, that they can't even talk to me like a real person, and I can't even see them as a real person. And I was like, is this part of the game? And she's like, this is not a game. And I was like, of course it's not a game, but in a way it is, the game of believing that we are bad when we make mistakes and playing that game, or having the choice to know, through all parts of us, not just the surface level, not just the intellectual level, but knowing the truth that we deserve love, we deserve human connection, we deserve permission to explore life and have life experiences no matter what we do. And When we can do that, when we really know that truth, then our experience can be one of truly dealing with the consequences in a simpler, easier way. Of course, there's a consequence. I had to pay a fee. Like, I'm not going to get out of that just because I love myself. And sometimes, when we make mistakes, we actually hurt other people. And so there is a consequence to that. And we want to be in a place where we can be responsible. And I love to break this word up into being the ability to respond. Respondable. When we are piled on with shame and blame, whether it's internal, external, or both, it's a lot harder to be truly responsible. When we can just address a mistake as a simple mistake and deal with the consequences as it is, we have so much more flexibility, more care about our impact, more creativity and problem solving. And when we actually hurt somebody, like, that really matters, that we can actually attune to the impact we had on another person and approach them from love as opposed to approaching them from defensiveness or projecting blame onto them. Imagine how our culture could be different if we could all really listen and hear the impact we had on another person, not take it personally, not feel like it's taking away from our self-worth or our love, when we can really just listen and hear and attend to what the other person needs, the story the other person is carried about any event. I think it could be life-changing, world-changing, if we could do that. And so I have tools that I love that can help with this. And I am in process myself, but I have found these steps forward in claiming the freedom that I want in permission to make mistakes, permission to be human. It's so freeing. And the tools that I have, internal family systems coaching, IFS coaching, it's welcoming all parts of us, including the ones that made the mistake, like including the parts of me that were like, just put the blinders on and pretended it's gonna be fine. Like, they deserve to be welcomed and loved too. As well as parts, if we're accidentally hurting another person or even on purpose hurting another person, those parts deserve to be welcomed and loved. And that's how they will have the best chance of real change, rather than exiling the parts of people who do something that's hurtful or make mistakes. So I offer that as coaching and have found it to be so helpful for me in releasing my shame, helping me grow as a person. And then I also offer aura transformation, which is a energy upgrade model. And I have found this is just accelerating my growth so that now I can, I feel like that's been a key in me seeing like, oh, this is an old story. And I have a choice now whether to believe these old stories of shame, blame, not unworthiness, and moving to what I see as the truth, which is that we are all connected. We all deserve love, no matter who we are and what we've done. And aura transformation is cool because it's just 2 sessions, and then you've got the energy upgrade underway, and it will last for the rest of your life. So if any of this is of interest to you, I invite you to check out my website, innerartistry.space. You can also email me anytime or drop a comment on the videos. My email is marta@innerartistry.space. And I just wish all the blessings to you for any mistakes you're making, explorations in your humanness, and welcoming all of it. Thanks for watching.